Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Blue Jay Way podcast. Chris May, Jack Ryan with you once again to go through the week that was from the Blue Jays. It was a bit of a more, relaxed, normal week after a couple of the weeks we'd had prior to this one.
hmm
The sky isn't falling as much, Jack. The boys were playing okay. Still left some to be desired, but they got
Yeah.
two series wins against a Marlins team who's playing well this
Mhm.
season. They are in the hunt in the National League wild card and in the National League East, even though the Braves are kind of
Running
running
away with
away
it.
with it. Yeah, the Marlins are still, team that's well above 500 that was playing really well coming into this series against the Jays, and then
Yeah.
they beat went home and took a series from the A's, but we'll start in Miami. The Jays were wrapping up a long road trip through three cities. Final stop down in Miami. And Jack,
Mhm.
maybe I'll just let you take it from here because the first game
Um,
was not good. Not good whatsoever.
Oh no. That was a terrible fucking game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I made a TikTok about it. A little recap for the boys, for the culture. Yeah, Jays got smoked 11-0, Chris. Jose
Yeah.
Barrios had his worst start of the season, which, you know, granted, still managed to go 4 innings. Gave up 5 earned and only walked one, so the walks were down, struck out four, but Uh, I I don't know what there else there's to say other than the offense was abysmal. It was
Yeah.
terrible. It
No,
was
yeah. The first time they'd been shut out all year.
against the Marlins.
No, I think the
No,
first
no, no,
time
no.
they
Like
shut
first
out.
time, I know, and I'm saying like, and it's against the
Oh,
Marlins.
yeah.
It
Yeah. And I
it
mean,
wasn't the Astros. It wasn't the Yankees. It wasn't the Orioles. It was the fucking Marlins.
yeah, no, the thing I remember from this game too is that the Marlins went with an opener. They didn't
Yeah,
even really have one of their, top guys. Like it's not like Yuri Perez was on the mound. He was on the mound later in the series. We'll get to that, but
yeah.
they had Brian Hoeing
hmm
completely shut down the lineup, which was not good.
Yeah.
Um,
He was
yeah,
hoeing all over the fucking diamond, man.
yeah, I know, dude. This guy looked pretty nasty, actually. I think they were saying they were gonna have him go like 1, 2 innings. He ended up going like three plus.
I think he went five or something
Yeah,
like that.
he went a ton,
Yeah.
but way longer than he was supposed to because he was dealing, and the Jays' offense couldn't do anything against him.
Mhm.
As for Barrios in this game, I think he's earned the right for us to say that this one was kind of
Blip on the radar.
a blip. This isn't his normal what his normal outing's going to look like throughout this season.
No.
Um, he wasn't as sharp as he normally is. I mean, his pitches weren't. The thing with Jose is location, location. You got to get that slurve down and in. You got to even paint it on the outside corner if you want. The fastball's got to be in on lefties and
Mhm.
righties,
Yeah.
sinking in. And he left some pitches outside over the plate. Jorge Soler got him elite home run hitter this season, Soler. So I'll say that Jose maybe he was just a touch off, but I don't
hmm
expect that to carry on for too long. I think it was a bit of a blip, and
Yeah.
yeah, just kind of one to forget. And it kind of carried over the tough the tough series from last week. Who did they play? They were terrible going into this series, right? They who are they losing to before this series? I'm trying to remember.
Who are they losing to?
Texas and
Texas.
Baltimore, right.
Yeah.
So it kind of continued that tough road trip into Miami. Things were not looking great after this one. Nate Pearson also got roughed up in this game, but
Yeah.
I think Nate Pearson needs some rest before he comes into games. He needs clean innings at this point in his
He
career.
needs he needs every other day. He can't pitch every single
Yeah.
day. So
So we're trying to get him to that point where he can do that, and then you got the mop up boys. Obviously, Mitch White. When he's in the game, something's not going well. And then Ernie Clement. When you got obviously Ernie Clement, position player pitching, it's not going well. So
I yeah, every time I see Mitch White on my screen, I just get depressed. I can't. I think I ended as soon as I saw him come in the game, I was like, that's enough of that.
yeah, I think I turned it off well before this.
Yeah.
But
And people came at me on the TikTok I made when I said, or when I posted the clip of us talking last time about why is Mitch White or Adam Simber and Mitch White still on this team, and then everyone was like, "Oh, because every team needs a shitty bullpen arm." It's like, uh,
that shouldn't be what we're striving for,
for
guys.
a World Series contender, did the Astros have a shitty bullpen arm last year when they won?
No,
I can't remember one. I
Not
can't.
nearly as Mitch
I
White
can't.
level.
No, not even close.
No.
Freaking ERA of over 5 or 6. Nah. To
No.
quote LA Knight, but
Yeah. So,
blip on the radar. Jose
started,
Barrios had a
yeah.
bad start.
Yeah, and credit Marlins, they were hitting. I think
Luis
Luis Arraez
Arraez.
went 5 for 5 this game. You just kind of have to sit back and appreciate what he's doing. You can't even get really upset with it.
Dude, did you see the clip of his? Did you see the clip of his tee drills that he practices?
Yeah.
He's hitting the ball on like that angle. I'm like, what? And then I was like,
a very, very interesting guy at the plate.
It makes sense.
He goes about it, and I know
he hits everything.
His swing is something else. It might be the shortest swing I've ever seen in my life.
And he can just drop it wherever he wants to put the ball.
He's looking to spray it everywhere. He's a very, very impressive hitter right now, and he got the Jays. Soler got the Jays in this first game, so you kind of got to tip your cap to a Marlins team that was playing really well. But then the Jays pitching staff dialed it in, Jack. Starting with, at the beginning of the year, you wouldn't have thought this, but at this point, it's the norm. Yusei Kikuchi, man, we got to give him a little something here, just for this entire week. We'll get to his second start of the week later on, but man, very, very, very solid stuff from him.
Hashtag Yusei cares, baby.
Allowed like 1 earned run on the week over, I would say, 13 innings. So
it was, 13.
Got to give props to Yusei. Had a great week. Really, really coming back into form after a bit of a dip after the great start to the season. So Yusei goes 6 innings, 2 hits, no runs, 6 strikeouts, and no walks. That is money. That is just incredible. That's exactly what you're looking for.
That's exactly what we were missing last year.
Yusei, that's probably beyond even what you would expect to see from Kikuchi. So a big shout out to him. Bullpen. This is a shutout of the Marlins. Nobody gives up any runs between Garcia, Swanson, Meza, and Romano. After that, great performances from the pitching staff, and then the bats do just enough against. I will say this game was started by one of my favorite players in the league for the Marlins, Yuri Perez. I just think that this kid has the potential to be one of the best starters in baseball.
How tall is he, man?
He's 6'8". He's a freak out there. He looks insane on the mound, and I just want to shout out him, even though this is a Jays show, because we're ball watchers.
We are.
We're ball knowers, and this kid, I think his scoreless inning streak's now up to over 20, and he's 20 years old. His ERA is well under 2, so he's a very, very special talent. The Marlins might shut him down at some point because he's never pitched more than like 70 innings.
There you go.
So they might send him down, not performance related, just so that maybe later in the season they can bring him back up and have him.
Yeah,
but
could just move him to the bullpen too.
He is very special. And the Jays didn't score any runs off of him, but they do break through later in this game once he was out of this game with a George Springer single and a Santiago Espinal double, and then an Ernie Clement. Who would have thought? Ernie Clement providing some offense late in this one as the Jays jump ahead, are the first team to score any runs in this one, and then hold on to the win with Jordan Romano getting the save. Pretty tidy game from both teams. Not too much going on.
I gotta say, man, about this game, just really quick. John Schneider's move to bring in 2 righties to face Tanner Scott it paid off tremendously.
Yes, absolutely. We give him a lot of flack.
We do.
He's gotten a lot of flack from the fan base for certain moves, but I agree that was a very
wise decision.
Well, that was the proper move for sure.
Yeah, because Espinal comes off the bench, hits a double, Clement brings him in with a single, and then George brings in Clement. Or do I have that wrong? I can't. It was a cluster. I was in the middle of doing something.
The second one.
Okay. So I think Espinal doubled Springer, or Clement doubled in or singled in.
No,
Espinal.
Actually, I could be wrong because that doesn't really make sense because the bottom of the lineup would be before Springer.
Yeah, it would. So I think it was Espinal came in to pinch hit for Biggio, got on with a double. Clement came in to pinch hit for, I want to say Kiermaier probably. Yeah, and then, that's right. He came in to pinch hit for Kiermaier, and then he hit the RBI single, and then Springer hit the RBI single to drive in Clement. And then Varsho came in to center to record the last out of the game for a mono save. That's what happened.
Nice.
Okay.
So the tidy win back in the win column for the Jays after dropping a couple series. They give themselves a chance to win a
To win.
series. So let's get to it. Gossman on the mound. He was good. We have a high standard for the guy. He maybe wasn't at his normal kind of ridiculous, dominant, no one's touching him, striking out every batter he faces kind of stuff. But he stuck with it. He gave up 3 runs over 6 innings, 8 hits, 1 walk, and 6 strikeouts. But the Jays offense finally decided to give a pitcher some serious run support. And it came off of Sandy, who, man, I don't know what's going on with Sandy. He didn't look all that bad. It's just that one inning. Other than that, right after that inning, like it's good they got to him there. Because
I'm pretty sure he only gave up 1 hit. Or no
like
hits.
right after that, he was like looking like Sandy from last year, dominating guys. But they got to him. I remember I was watching the game. I went out for 10 minutes to go grab some stuff for lunch, and then I come back and it's 5-0. I'm like, what I missed? Holy shit. It was just like, I guess, a string of singles, and it wasn't any, not too many massive swings of the bat.
No.
Crazy hard hit contact off of Sandy, but they were just keeping the line moving. And that was, honestly, at that point in where kind of the Jays were offensively, that was even really good to see, because that kind of offense can be very productive and can get you wins, even if you're not hitting long balls or extra base hits. So that was nice to see. Sandy gave up, 5 runs in 1 inning in second. And then the Jays were kind of, was looking a little, they were trying to hold on. Gossman was giving up a few, but, they did enough to hold on. So Springer had a big 2-run double. Chapman hit a home run late that gave them the 3-run lead back. That was great to see Matt Chapman hitting a home run after not looking so great at the plate for, the majority of the beginning of this road trip. And they come through with a big 6-3 win with Kevin Gossman on the mound. He strikes out 6, just 1 walk allowed, 3 earned runs, but the offense did enough, mostly in that second inning off of Sandy. So I love to see it. They get 2 out of 3 to end the road trip. Come home to face the A's.
And then the balance comes back into play.
So everyone thought, now they can sweep the A's and have a little win streak going. Well, Jack, it's not that easy. No matter who you're playing, they can pose a threat. And the Jays learned that the hard way because they lost the opening game. Jack, I know you have had some thoughts on the way that Chris Bassett's been going recently. Why don't you just start us off for this game? Because I didn't really. I'll put my hand up. I was working on another game at work, that Reds Braves game on Friday. That was absolutely insane. The LA
was that the cycle?
Yeah. So nice, I didn't have too much time to peek at the Jays game. I heard a lot of people talking about it, but I know you were dialed in. So
kick
us off here with the A's with the Chris Bassett game.
Yeah. Bassett in his last, I'd say 3 or 4 starts has not been himself that we saw earlier in the season. And evidently it was due to him calling his own game, because I believe it was in the 3rd or 4th inning, he told Jansen, you go get a pitch comm and you're going to call my pitches. And that's ended up what happened, because
Seems like something you don't want to see mid-start.
No, exactly. And he came out after the start in this game and said, I won't be calling any more of my own games, because he says he's too in his own head out there and he's just not executing his pitches. So fair enough. At least he admitted what was wrong. 5 innings pitched, 5 hits, 4 earned runs, 2 walks, and 4 strikeouts against his former team. The worst offensive team in baseball by a historically terrible team by any year metric. And the hound became the puppy, basically. There's no other way to put it. Trevor Richards, we gave Kikuchi a little golf clap. You got to give Trevor Richards a golf clap here too, because he has been arguably our most reliable reliever out of the pen, other than Tim Meza. The guy, I'd argue more so because he's come in opening roles. He's come in for multiple inning roles, whereas Meza is more of a lefty specialist / like come in for a clean inning or just to mop up the mess. Richards comes in 1 2/3 innings, only gives up a hit, no earned runs, 1 walk, and a strikeout. Eric Swanson comes in, strikes out the side. And then Romano, Chris. And I said this on the post game TikTok I made. He wants to impregnate his slider. He wants to bang his slider. He wants to make love, sweet love to his slider. Yeah. Shea Langoliers, their rookie catcher, who I believe was batting in the 7 or 8 spot.
He does have power. He does have power.
He has power, but he got a hold of a slider that didn't slide. It was basically just a fucking BP fastball. And he drove it to left and gave the A's a 5-4 lead in the top of the 9th, and the Jays couldn't capitalize. So Romano blows the save for, I think, the 4th time or 5th time this year. I was very, very disappointed with the outcome.
Usually when he blows a save, the pitch that is hit for the decisive hit.
Slider. What happened against Ryan O'Hearn in the Orioles series, remember?
Ryan O'Hearn, JT Realmuto in Philly that one time.
Most of them are like I'd say 80% of his blown saves since he's taken over as closer have been off of the slider.
I mean, I get it. At certain points, it does make sense to use it. You just can't use it too much.
No,
because it's not even close to your best pitch.
He did in the following game that he saved in this series. He did use his fastball more. So credit to him for that.
We're not saying don't use the slider whatsoever.
No, but it's a playoff pitch. It's not your primary.
Establish your fastball first.
Exactly. Buck Martinez has been saying that for years. Anyway, the good side of this game is we got to see a first time at Rogers Center this season. PLAKATA.
Yeah.
Adi went deep. 3-run bomb off James Caprillion.
Insane.
But Chris,
it wasn't cheap. It wasn't cheap. It was
443 feet or something like that to the Budweiser side.
It was worthy of the first home run at home being in July or whatever, late June. It was worth it.
Guy finally got up to 10 digits. Drives in 3 on that one, and then Kevin Kiermaier hit an RBI double. That was all the offense the Jays could muster against the A's, which was kind of disappointing considering only 4 runs against the worst team in baseball. But hey, we move on. We move on to game 2 because the Jays came out in this one and completely flipped the switch. They scored 7 runs and won 7-3. And Chris, I'll give it back to you.
Yeah. So we got a 7-3 game on the Saturday. Jose Barrios, very solid once again. Kind of proving what we said was a blip as to be true because he kind of shook that last start off, came out. Did give up 6 hits, but he was kind of working around trouble. He was doing a good job of getting out of trouble. 8 strikeouts were huge. He seems like he needed a lot of them to kind of get through innings and avoid some more serious damage, which last year Jose Barrios probably wouldn't have been able to get that done. So
he's really transformed back into what the Jays got him for in 2021.
Yes, he is. You got to give a lot of credit to him. It seems like he took his struggles very seriously and he sorted them out. And same with Kikuchi. So it's nice to see those guys being able to do that, and the Jays being able to help them get to a point where they're pitching really well again. So there we go. Yes. Staying on the pitching side, third reliever in this game, Jimmy Garcia, left the game with a bit of an injury. It looked like his neck.
Yeah, he was pointing at it when
I
remember the athletic trainer's name for the life of me. I apologize.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. But yeah, he was pointing at it. He exited the game. So we'll have to see. I don't. Is he on the IL now?
I haven't seen any updates. I'm checking my phone. I haven't seen nothing.
That could be a little thing. I mean, Jimmy probably hasn't had the season he's hoped for. So it may be good for him to kind of reset here, rehab, and then try and come back later on and be effective like he was right at the beginning of this year. Actually, he was quite good, but then things kind of tailed off for him. But anyways, Jimmy left this game. Thought we'd let you guys know that. But yes, the Jays offense once again was doing the damage and was able to put up enough runs to get the Jays across the finish line here. And again, another Vladdy home run at home in back-to-back games. It was a 2-run shot. Another no-doubter that gave the Jays they extended their lead in this one, and then Danny Jansen hit Danny Jansen seems like every time he gets a hit, it's a home run.
Danny Bonds, baby.
Yeah, I gotta credit him too. He's been honestly one of the
Chris,
more
he's
valuable
5 home runs off of his career high
career
that he
high.
set
Yeah, he
last year.
can blow that out of the water for
Yeah,
sure.
he's easily. I think this year, if he doesn't go on the IL again and he remains in the lineup on a regular basis,
no.
he's gonna hit 20 to 25.
That's the big thing with him, man. Is if he stays healthy, he's a 25 home run guy.
Yeah, he's gonna drive an easily 70
yeah.
in the year. Like I think he's third on the team in runs driven in this year too, which is astounding. Or fourth maybe now.
He's a definition of like a free true outcome kind of guy.
Yeah,
a big bat with tons of power. When he connects, they most likely leave the yard.
Yeah,
and then some other guys chipping in. Brandon Belt,
the cock,
a little shack fly, Matt Chapman. The cock.
The cock.
Yeah, that's a great nickname. Yeah, it's a great nickname. And then Matt Chapman with a little RBI.
Sound win for the Jays.
Standard win, solid pitching from Barrios in the pen, and then the Jays offense led by Jansen and Vladdy. They get it done against the A's. Nice to get a win against them. You need to get as many against these types of teams as you can. So that one had the people feeling good on a Saturday. You love to see it. And then this one on a Sunday was just an absolute waxing. Started off, but we can't start this game without the masterclass on the mound. That was Yusei Kikuchi. Like we were saying, man, this guy, he is really, really, really turned it on.
Man, he was dealing.
He's dealing every time he's steps out there. Honestly, this is what you can expect. Like this is something that's now realistic, and I don't know if we ever thought that would happen. So this is great to see. 7 innings for the first time as a Blue Jay, which is insane. Actually, I didn't know that, and I was a bit surprised to hear that. But yeah, 7 innings for the very first time as a Jay. It's almost been like a year and a half. Just 2 hits, 1 earned, 2 walks, 8 strikeouts for the man they call the Cooch.
The best Kikuchi. The Cooch and the Cock. That should be the podcast name. Oh, Brandon Belt.
I don't know if we should mention the Buck Martinez masterclass too later on.
Oh, absolutely. We have to.
That kind of follows this trend. Well, we'll mention it, when we get to his home run. But
Trent Thornton actually looked good, Chris. I will say
I hate Trent Thornton. I've always hated him. Well, I shouldn't say that, but
you don't trust him. You don't hate him.
I've watched a lot of Trent Thornton, which is all you need to know.
Yeah, unfortunately, we've watched a lot of Trent Thornton.
Frustrating a lot of the time, but. I will say,
Trent came out and did his job.
Congrats, you did do a nice job. And then, yes, Springer overtook
Alfonso Soriano
for second, to sit alone in second, all-time leadoff home runs, crushed a no-doubter. 26 behind Ricky. We've talked about this a bit. He could do it, depending on how long he plays.
He's got 2 more years left on his contract if he hits.
Yeah, he'll probably play beyond that too. Somewhere. So it could happen. He's getting closer. So that was a great way to kick off the game for the Jays. Vlad, couple more hits. Espinal, big 2-run double. That really kind of ended this one. And
he had a great day at the plate. 2 walks as well.
Espinal's looking good. I thought Espinal's honestly been looking pretty good all season.
Him and Cavan though, they're both starting to hit their stride. So it's now a big fight to see who's going to play more.
I know. Yeah.
But then here's the thing, and Witt's batting 300. So what do we do with this amount of? Do you trade Espinal? Like, what do we do? The deadline's coming up, man. It's a month away.
You maybe trade Witt, just because he's the oldest and he's got one.
And he's got the most cap hit. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's got to just last. Like his deal expires after this season, so
it's a good point.
I like Witt though.
I like Witt too. Yeah.
I don't know if you have to trade any of them, but.
No, I hope not. And we got to talk about, speaking of Cavan Biggio, 3-run bomb, for his 7th of the year. But the story of Cavan Biggio on this day was
Buck Martinez so
Buck
much.
Martinez is the greatest announcer in the history of baseball.
This was an incredibly hilarious.
Obviously not. Vince Scully is the GOAT. We all know that.
Yeah.
But as far as comedic timing, no one beats Buck Martinez.
Yeah. So he hit what, like a little double or single?
It was a single or it was a walk. It was one of the two.
Yeah, it was hilarious how this happened too, like before his home run. Because we can now have something funny to point to as to why his home run happened. But yeah, Buck Martinez basically, I mean, Jack, you probably do a better Buck than me, but he basically said, yeah, he started pinch hitting and he started having some sex.
Gavin's looked good at the plate. He's gotten his
yeah.
pinch hit appearances. He's starting to have a lot of sex. Like,
I
think he meant to say success.
Yeah, have success. But Buck Martinez seems
God.
to, as the team's color guy, he gets these inside scoops that the normal fan doesn't get. So thanks to Buck for providing some great insight there on why Kevin has been so good at the dish. Obviously, not true, just funny to think about. Congrats, Kevin.
Oh yeah, congrats on the sex, dude.
Great job, Kevin. So yeah, that was the week that was. The Jays win 4 out of 6 games. You know what? I saw something insane.
What's that, dude?
And actually, is that the American League as a conference here has not been playing very well. I think the Jays are like 17 and like 11.
17 and 11 since May 26th. Best record.
Best record in the American League.
Which does not feel that way.
Obviously, that got tweeted out on Sunday. Some teams played yesterday, so it could have changed a little bit.
Yeah.
But
Orioles played the Reds and won yesterday.
I know going into yesterday, that was a real stat, and I thought that was wild. But yeah, I mean, like the Rays have cooled off a bit, the Orioles have cooled off a bit. Those teams that were really firing at earlier in the season, aren't playing quite as well. So, yeah, the Jays surprisingly have been, pretty solid, I guess we'll say. They've still left some stuff to be desired, but I'd say you can't complain too much about this past week.
A winning record's a winning record.
Yeah,
that's all they need. And also,
won a series on the road against a good team, and then 2 out of 3 on a bad team.
Hey, you know what, dude? Anything to get the confidence level up with the bats, because like realistically, the pitching has maintained us over a 500 record. Realistically, the strong starting pitching performances, yeah, there are a couple of hiccups here and there, but in the bullpen, the pitching is not the problem with this team right now. They have blips, right?
Yeah.
Okay, Romano and Bassett kind of are the reason they lost the game. But then again, if you don't score 4 runs against the Oakland or more than 4 runs against the Oakland Athletics, there's kind of a problem there.
For sure.
That said, if this series or these 2 series are the catalyst for the Jays to turn that corner and for everyone to just get it, keep getting hits, and you're starting to hit more with runners in scoring position. We're seeing it now. Who's to say that they're not gonna? Who's to say that they're not gonna go into the All-Star break and because what do they got? They got the Giants coming up tonight for the weekend.
That's gonna be a big one. That's a big one, man, because the Giants are playing really, really well right now.
Both teams are, yeah.
Well, both teams are playing solid right now. The Giants are better than we thought they'd be this year, I'll be honest.
In a shittier NL West division than we thought it would be, because the Dodgers have taken a step back.
Yes.
The Giants
waiting for Ohtani.
Waiting for Ohtani. Yes, exactly.
And so I will say that the Jays are actually in a decent spot. I think when that series ended in against Oakland, they were in a playoff spot, back in the wild card spot. It's been a while. So they're
hovering at a game or a half a game back for the last 2
they're
weeks.
Right in the mix with like the Yankees, who do you hear that report that Judge might be out for the year?
He has a torn ligament in his big toe.
If that happens, they're a non-factor. They're not even.
No, because they start and stop with Aaron Judge.
They're not making the playoffs without Aaron Judge for the whole season. I mean, I think he'll come back at some point before the end of the year, but apparently it hurts him to just walk right now. So that's obviously terrible.
At this point, I think he'll be out for at least a month and a half, which that's a lot of baseball. That's a lot of meaningful games.
Yankees are very, very if they were good without him, if they had pieces, but they don't.
Yeah. They're the old. I think they're the oldest team in baseball.
They're just
as far as average age.
They just don't do anything for me without them. No. They've got kind of plug and play guys in there, and I just don't really know what their plan is.
Their infield is all over the
Seager right now. I was hitting like 380. But
that guy's nuts, man.
I don't know. Yeah,
Corey Seager, he's nuts. Wanted to touch on quickly though the All-Star voting. So obviously Bo Bichette leads American League shortstops, and
is it Corey Seager he's going against?
It was Wander Franco for a while, but Wander Franco's since turned into an ice block. So I think it's Corey Seager now, because Seager since coming off the IL is
I know,
arguably the hottest hitter in baseball.
I will say, like, I know how hard we vouched for Bichette as the best shortstop in the American League, but Corey Seager, we got to give him some respect. I still think Bo will get into the All-Star game because Jays fans vote heavy, and because
as we should. Which, by the way, I'm tired of Yankees
Bo,
fans
absolutely, he deserves it.
Yeah, I'm tired of Yankees fans and Red Sox fans fucking crying and bitching and complaining on Twitter about it. It's like, oh, of course you're gonna vote. It's like, okay, then go vote for your guys.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, you guys have
Shut
the same
up
opportunity. It's like, yeah, I know.
We're not. We don't like have a monopoly on the voting system.
But Yankees fans don't even have like a guy that would even realistically make sense. Like, you put Matt Chapman in at third, it's like, okay, like, you know, you can make an argument, but like you put Josh Donaldson there, like, God.
You're putting who besides Judge, who's injured.
They have no one to vote for.
No. Also, when does the voting? When does the voting for the pitching come? Like, is that this week upcoming? I have no idea.
I don't even know if pitchers get voted like that. I don't even.
What? That's so dumb.
I do think, though, some guys out of the Jays bullpen should make the All-Star game.
Jordan Romano is tied for the league leading saves. Anyway.
Yeah, Jordan Romano should be a no-brainer.
Tim Meza is a no-brainer. If anyone goes,
Tim Meza, and then I would say even
Swanson too, yeah. I think he's
I would say Swanson's probably like should.
The Jays have legitimate guys from the bullpen that could go to the All-Star. I think go to the All-Star.
Yeah, I think Gausman obviously is the starter, and I think he'll go. I think he absolutely should go.
Kikuchi could be that guy too.
Yeah, well, we'll have to see, but I think Gausman at a bare minimum will be there.
Yeah.
And then some guys from the bullpen, because the bullpen has been amazing.
It has been.
For the most part. And then, yes, we got some close ones too. I think Vlad and Yandy Diaz are neck and neck.
Which, I mean, I looked at it like last week before Vladdy had this insane thing. Like, Yandy Diaz, yes, he has a higher average. Vladdy has more hits, more doubles, more ribbies, a lower OPS, but more walks, less strikeouts.
Yeah, I mean, they're probably both going to make the team. One's going to start, the other's going to come off the bench.
Yeah. And then, you know what? Hey, Rays fans, keep voting for Yandy. And you know what? I'm not going to lie. Last week, I did vote for Yandy over Vladdy because Vladdy wasn't performing well. I'm biased, but I still am oh my God. I am still an objective voter. So I'm like, hey. And I voted for Josh Jung over Matt Chapman because
that's one I agree on the most.
Yeah.
Josh Jung has been really, really, really good.
The whole Rangers organization.
For way more of the season than Matt Chapman.
Matt Chapman is still living off of his April.
Yeah, which, I don't.
If his average was 30 points lower in April instead of whatever it was, like 360 or 380, he'd be batting like 240 right now, but he's batting 265 or 270. So
I mean, Matt Chapman, he might make the team. Like, I don't know if the first place guy and the second place guy can both make the team because
I think it goes
starter and then a guy who comes off the bench. Like, I feel like if you get to this phase, you're more than likely, unless you're in the outfield where there's a ton of guys, you're probably going to make it.
I think they take a backup of each position. I think they take a backup of each position. They do for sure. Except for outfield, because they take like 5.
Yeah. So I think that Chapman will probably make the team because he's at this point, he's one of the top 2. But yeah, there's going to be a lot of Jays on the All-Star team this year because Brandon Belt is second in DH voting behind Ohtani, which is hilarious. So Brandon Belt might even be there too. Well, I don't know if they take 2 DHs. That might be one where they just take one. I'm not sure.
But then is Ohtani allowed to be a starting pitcher?
Right? I think he has started the All-Star game, hasn't he?
He didn't start last year. No, I think McClanahan is starting. He started last year, and then Manoah followed him. And then this year, I think McClanahan's going to be the starter again.
Wow, good for McClanahan.
He's a great pitcher, man. He's a great pitcher.
He is. That's just I can't remember seeing back-to-back starts in the All-Star game.
Verlander might have done it back in the 2010s. Kershaw maybe. Yeah. Scherzer might have done it too. But like, it's been a while, I'm pretty sure, since.
Yeah. So yeah, that's impressive. But I think the Jays. So let's count them up.
Vladdy
will be there.
Whit Merrifield might be there. He's second. Yeah. Chapman, Bo, Kiermaier.
Yeah.
And then if the pitching gets voted, or Belt might be there. And if the pitching gets voted, so let's call it Romano, Gausman, Meza. So 8 Blue Jays could possibly be there.
Holy crap.
That might be the most in the majors. Well, again, right?
Yeah, we'll have to see how it goes with second place guys if they still, are the backup. I think they would be. And then, you get guys who come in for injuries and stuff like Espinal last year. That's how he got in. So, it can still obviously change, but man, you got to credit Jays fans. We're nothing if not passionate.
Yeah.
And
even when our team is struggling, we still vote for them.
Yeah, we support the boys. And, there's a lot worse fan bases out there. Yeah, we
Yankees
are,
fans.
we are very supportive and for the most part, a kind fan base, and we love the boys. So
we're only giving positive affirmations and conversation to the guys in the visiting bullpen.
Absolutely. So
we're classy here.
So yes. So you guys continue to vote. We'll continue to vote for the guys. Hopefully we can see them out in Seattle. Maybe Vlad can get in the Derby again and unlock his swing a little bit more. That'd be fun to see. He goes in the Derby and just
stop listening to Guillermo Martinez.
I would actually love to see Bo in the Derby. I feel like that would be interesting. I don't know if he has the swing for it because
he's a spray swing guy, man.
Yeah, but I feel like it'd be interesting at least to see. Let's get Brandon Belt in the Derby. Just getting that fucking legs swinging, that absolute pivot he's got in his swing, those quick hits.
His hitch,
his hitch. Get me going. Brandon Belt in the home run derby. That'd be the best thing ever. But yeah, that's coming up soon. Actually, in Canada Day is coming up soon as well. Jack, quick one.
Yes, sir.
Think there's any hope Manoah is back for Canada Day start?
Dude, he's got a 9 ERA in rookie ball right now. There's no chance he's coming back right now, dude. No.
Yeah, I don't think that's the right time too. I think that if you're a guy who's dealt with some mental things this year, to put him in that spot, coming back from rookie ball, that's a recipe for more loss in confidence. And that's a big stage. So I've heard rumblings that was something they were maybe going to consider, just the way it lined up. But I agree, Jack. I don't think that's
no. I don't see that should happen. So no. You know what? I want Manoah to take all the time he needs down there. The team's doing okay without him. We do have options at the trade deadline to go out and get another starting pitcher. So yeah. Anyway, we're running out of time here. So guys, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, follow us on TikTok at the Blue Jay Way Podcast, your second favorite Blue Jays podcast.
Yes, absolutely. Nice little extra, Jack. We'll be back with you next week to go over Giants and
Red Sox
for Canada Day weekend. So we will talk to you guys then. Thanks for joining us. And Chris and Jack signing out. See you guys.
See you guys.